Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast.
Hi, guys. We're so happy you're here with us today.
Today's episode is simple, but very powerful.
Yes, today we're talking about something we all have, a daily routine.
That's right, your morning, your afternoon, your night. The small habits that shape your life.
And we're going to talk about how your routine can change your energy, your mood, and even your success.
Exactly. Some people wake up early, some people wake up late.
Some people go to the gym. Some people check their phone first thing in the morning.
No judgment here. We're just going to explore what a healthy daily routine looks like.
And we'll also share our own routines, what works, what doesn't work, and what we're still trying to improve.
Because let's be honest, nobody has a perfect routine.
Nobody, not even us.
So today, we'll break it down into 3 parts: morning, afternoon, and night.
We'll talk about productivity, habits, motivation, and small changes that can make a big difference.
And maybe by the end of this episode, you'll feel inspired to improve just one small habit.
Because small changes every day create big results over time.
So grab your coffee,
Or your tea.
and let's talk about daily routines.
Let's get started.
All right, let's really get into this. For me, the morning sets the emotional tone for the entire day. If I wake up stressed, checking notifications, already reacting to other people's demands, I feel like I'm losing control before I even start. So I've been trying to protect my mornings. I wake up around 7 a.m., but instead of jumping out of bed immediately, I take about 5 minutes just to breathe. I don't grab my phone. I don't think about work. I just allow myself to exist. It sounds small, but that moment of silence makes a huge difference. It reminds me that I control my day. My day doesn't control me.
I love that you said that. Protect your morning. Because I didn't used to do that at all. I used to wake up and instantly check Instagram, emails, messages, news. And within 2 minutes, I was already comparing myself to someone, worrying about something, or feeling behind. And it was exhausting. So now I've created a small rule for myself. No phone for the first 20 minutes. Instead, I sit up, stretch slowly, drink a full glass of water, and open the window. Natural light helps me wake up mentally, not just physically. It feels intentional. It feels like I'm choosing how my day begins instead of reacting to it.
After those first quiet minutes, I try to move my body in some way. Not because I'm trying to look a certain way, but because movement changes my mental state. Some mornings it's a full workout. Other mornings it's just stretching for 10 minutes. But I've realized something important. When I move my body early, I feel more disciplined. It's like I've already done something difficult before 8 a.m., and that gives me confidence. Even on days when I don't feel motivated, I tell myself, just start small. And usually, once I begin, the energy follows.
That's so true. Motivation doesn't always come first. Action does. For me, I'm not a very intense morning exerciser, but I do love walking. I'll put on a podcast or soft music and walk around my neighborhood. It's peaceful, and it helps me think clearly. Some of my best ideas come during those quiet walks. It's almost like my brain wakes up slowly with my body, and the fresh air makes me feel grateful. I think gratitude in the morning changes everything. When I start my day thankful, I complain less throughout the day.
Let's talk about food for a second, because I underestimated how important breakfast was for years. I used to skip it or grab something sugary because it was fast. But then I would crash around 10 or 11 a.m., feeling tired and unfocused. Now I try to eat something balanced. Protein, maybe eggs, fruit, coffee without too much sugar. I've noticed that when my body feels stable, my emotions feel more stable too. And that affects how I speak to people, how patient I am, even how creative I feel.
Yes, and I think people forget that energy is physical. We can't expect to feel sharp and positive if we're feeding our body poorly. I like simple breakfast, nothing fancy. Sometimes oatmeal, sometimes eggs and toast, sometimes just yogurt and fruit. But I sit down and actually eat. I don't scroll while eating anymore. That was another habit I had to break. Now breakfast feels like a small moment of mindfulness. It's not just about food. It's about starting the day slowly and intentionally.
After breakfast, I plan my day. And I don't mean planning every second. That stresses me out. I just write down 3 main priorities. Only 3. Because if I write 10 tasks, I feel overwhelmed before I even start. But 3 feels powerful and realistic. And when I complete those 3 things, I feel accomplished. That sense of progress builds confidence over time. I think structure gives freedom. When I know what matters most, I waste less time on distractions.
I completely agree. I used to think productivity meant being busy all day, but now I understand it's about clarity. When I don't plan, I end up reacting to emails, messages, random tasks. But when I choose my top priorities, I move forward intentionally. And I also schedule breaks. That's important, because if you work nonstop, you burn out. A healthy routine isn't about pressure. It's about sustainability. It's about building habits you can actually maintain long-term.
One thing I've learned about routines is that consistency is more important than intensity. In the past, I tried extreme morning routines, waking up at 5 a.m., working out hard, reading for an hour, but I couldn't maintain it. After 2 weeks, I quit. Now I focus on simple habits I can repeat daily. Even if it's just 10 minutes of movement and 5 minutes of planning, doing it every day builds discipline slowly and naturally over time.
That's such an important point. People think success comes from dramatic changes, but real progress comes from repetition. I'd rather have a simple routine I follow for years than a perfect routine I abandon after a month. Discipline grows quietly. When you repeat small actions every morning, you start trusting yourself more. And that self-trust changes your confidence in other areas of life too.
Another thing that changed my mornings was controlling my thoughts. Before, I would wake up already thinking about problems, work stress, responsibilities, things I hadn't finished. Now I try to choose one positive thought before getting out of bed. Something simple like, "Today is a new opportunity." It sounds basic, but the way you speak to yourself in the morning affects your mood for hours afterward.
I relate to that deeply. The mind is very sensitive in the morning. It's like soft clay. Whatever impression you leave first will shape the rest of the day. That's why I avoid negative news early. Instead, I might listen to calm music or something educational. Protecting your mental space is part of a healthy routine. Your environment influences your emotions more than you realize.
Let's be honest, social media is one of the biggest distractions in the morning. If I open one app, suddenly 30 minutes disappear. And usually, I don't feel better afterward. I feel rushed. So I created a boundary. No social media until after I complete my top priority. That way, I earn my distraction instead of letting it control me.
That's powerful. Earn your distraction. I like that. I've noticed that when I delay social media, my mind feels clearer. Comparison decreases. Anxiety decreases. When I start my day focusing on my own goals instead of other people's highlights, I feel more grounded. It's not about avoiding technology forever. It's about timing and intention.
I've also realized that mornings are my highest energy hours. My mind feels sharp, and I can concentrate better. So I try to schedule my most important or creative tasks during that time. If I leave difficult work for the afternoon, I struggle more. Understanding your natural energy patterns is part of building a smart routine.
Exactly. Some people are night owls, others are morning people. The key is self-awareness. Pay attention to when you feel most focused and protect that time. Don't waste your best mental hours on small tasks. A good routine is not about copying someone else's schedule. It's about designing one that matches your personality and rhythm.
Once the morning passes, I notice a shift in my energy. Around midday, my focus isn't as sharp as it was earlier. That's when discipline becomes even more important. I try to avoid heavy meals that make me sleepy, and I take short breaks instead of pushing nonstop. A 5-minute walk or just standing up helps reset my mind. The afternoon isn't about intensity. It's about maintaining steady momentum without burning out.
I feel that too. After lunch, there's always that moment when your body wants to slow down. Instead of fighting it aggressively, I work with it. I schedule lighter tasks during that time, answering emails, organizing small responsibilities. And I remind myself that productivity doesn't mean constant pressure. Sustainable routines respect your natural rhythms instead of ignoring them.
Lunch used to be random for me. Sometimes I'd eat fast, sometimes skip it. sometimes overeat because I was stressed. But I've learned that how I eat affects the rest of my afternoon. Now I try to eat calmly and step away from my workspace. Even 15 minutes of mindful eating helps my brain relax. When you pause intentionally, you return to work clearer and more focused.
Yes, and I think stepping away physically makes a difference. If you eat while staring at a screen, your mind never truly rests. I like using lunch as a mental reset. Sometimes I reflect on my morning and ask myself, am I on track with my priorities? That small check-in keeps me intentional instead of drifting through the rest of the day unconsciously.
Afternoons can also bring unexpected stress. Messages, deadlines, last-minute problems. Before, those things would completely ruin my mood. Now I try to pause before reacting. I take one deep breath and ask, is this urgent, or am I just anxious? That small pause changes everything. A strong routine isn't about avoiding stress. It's about responding calmly instead of emotionally.
That pause is powerful. We often confuse urgency with pressure. When something unexpected happens, our body reacts instantly. But if you slow down your breathing, your mind regains control. I've noticed that when I stay calm, I solve problems faster. Emotional reactions drain energy. Controlled responses preserve it. That awareness is part of emotional discipline.
One habit that transformed my afternoons is deciding when work officially ends. Before, I would mentally carry work into the evening. Now, I take 5 minutes at the end of my workday to review what I completed and plan tomorrow's top task. That way, my mind feels closed and organized. It's easier to relax when you know you've prepared for the next day.
I love that habit. Without a clear ending, work feels endless. When you create a small closing ritual, your brain understands it's time to shift into personal mode. That transition is healthy. Otherwise, you stay half working, half resting, and never fully present. A good daily routine includes not just how you start your day, but also how you finish it.
When the evening begins, I try to slow down intentionally. I used to carry the same speed from work into the night, and it left me feeling restless. Now I see the evening as a transition period. It's the bridge between productivity and rest. If I don't slow my mind down gradually, I can't truly relax. So I change the lighting, lower the noise, and give myself permission to shift gears.
That transition is so important. Many people finish work, but never mentally disconnect. They scroll, answer messages, or keep thinking about unfinished tasks. I try to create a small ritual, like changing clothes or washing my face, to signal that the workday is over. These small physical actions tell your brain that a new phase has started, and that helps you feel present at home.
In the evening, I focus on activities that recharge me instead of draining me. Sometimes that's reading, sometimes it's having a calm conversation, sometimes just listening to music. I try not to choose stimulation that keeps my mind racing. If I spend hours on intense content, my sleep suffers. The evening should prepare your body for rest, not create more mental noise.
Exactly. The quality of your night determines the quality of your next morning. I also avoid heavy meals too late because they affect my sleep, and I try to dim the lights about an hour before bed. It sounds simple, but your body responds to light. When you create a peaceful environment, your nervous system relaxes naturally, and sleep becomes easier.
One habit that changed my mindset is short reflection before bed. I don't write a long journal every night, but I ask myself 3 simple questions. What went well today? What could I improve? What am I grateful for? This keeps me balanced. Instead of focusing only on mistakes, I recognize progress too. That reflection builds awareness without self-criticism.
I love that practice. Gratitude before sleep shifts your emotional state. If you go to bed thinking about problems, your mind stays tense. But if you remember even one good moment from the day, your body relaxes. Reflection isn't about judging yourself, it's about learning gently. Over time, those small reflections help you grow without pressure.
Sleep is something I used to underestimate. I thought sacrificing sleep made me more productive, but it actually made me less focused and more irritable. Now I protect my sleep schedule. I try to go to bed at a consistent time, even on weekends. Quality sleep repairs your body, sharpens your thinking, and stabilizes your emotions for the next day.
Absolutely. A strong daily routine ends with strong rest. People focus so much on morning habits, but without good sleep, those habits collapse. I also keep my phone away from my bed. That boundary improved my sleep quality dramatically. When your night is calm, your morning feels lighter. Everything in your routine is connected like a cycle.
Before we finish, I think it's important to say something honest. No routine is perfect. There are days when I oversleep, skip workouts, or feel unmotivated. And that's normal. A healthy routine is not about perfection, it's about returning quickly when you fall off. The goal isn't to control every minute. The goal is to create structure that supports your life, not pressures it.
I'm glad you said that. People often think disciplined individuals never struggle, but that's not true. The difference is consistency over time. Missing one day doesn't ruin your progress. Quitting does. So, if you have a bad day, forgive yourself and restart the next morning. Routines are flexible frameworks, not strict prisons. They should help you feel stronger, not guilty.
If someone listening feels overwhelmed, I would say start small. Don't redesign your entire life tomorrow. Choose one habit. Maybe drink water first thing in the morning. Maybe plan 3 priorities. Maybe sleep 30 minutes earlier. Small changes feel manageable, and manageable habits last. Big transformations usually begin with very simple decisions repeated daily.
Yes, simplicity is powerful. When habits are realistic, you actually follow them. And over time, those small improvements compound. One better choice per day becomes 30 better choices per month. That's how identity shifts. You don't wake up suddenly disciplined. You become disciplined by proving to yourself, little by little, that you can keep promises to yourself.
For me, building a daily routine didn't just improve my productivity, it improved my confidence. When I wake up and follow through with my habits, I feel aligned with my goals. I feel intentional instead of reactive. That sense of control reduces anxiety. It reminds me that even if life is unpredictable, I can control how I respond each day.
And that's the beauty of it. A routine gives stability in a chaotic world. It creates mental clarity and emotional balance. It doesn't remove problems, but it strengthens you. When your foundation is solid, sleep, movement, focus, reflection, challenges feel lighter. You're not surviving your days. You're designing them with purpose.
So if there's one message we want you to remember, it's this. Your daily routine shapes your future. Not in dramatic ways overnight, but quietly, consistently, over time. Protect your mornings, respect your energy, end your days intentionally. Those small actions create momentum that builds the life you want.
Thank you for spending this time with us today. We hope this conversation inspired you to reflect on your own routine. Start small, stay consistent, and be patient with yourself. If this episode helped you, share it with someone who might need it. And we'll see you in the next one.